Hey, welcome back to the American Dream. The entrepreneurial journey always has its ups and downs. Imagine the 2008 market crash causing you to lose $100 million. That's the story of David Meltzer, who joins us on the American Dream. And there's a lot more to your story as well. Written books, keynote speaker with Forbes magazine right in there. So got a lot going on, man.
Yeah, a lot of fun, but it's part of being an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, so you've had your fair share of ups and downs. I know you write about it in your books. So I'm not sharing anything that you haven't personally, publicly shared. But for anyone who doesn't know you, give us the story. Where did you start? Take us up to 2008.
Just real quickly, grew up poor, wanted to be rich so I could buy my mom a house and a car. Ended up making a choice out of law school to get into technology. Worked for West Publishing. In 9 months, made my first $1 million. Bought my mom that house and the car.
What year was this?
In 92.
Okay.
And then by 95, we got bought out for $3.4 billion. Set me in a different branding mode to brand myself as a technology guy.
Wow.
Went up to the Silicon Valley, raised $169 million for a company called EveryPath, wireless proxy server space, then got hired as Samsung CEO of their first convergence device, which we now call smartphone. So I was the CEO of the PCE phone, the world's first CE device.
Wow.
And made a ton of money. They kicked me out because the company got too big. I was out over my skis. Started investing in technology, real estate. My dad was a commercial broker. So I ended up with a golf course, a ski mountain, 33 properties here in San Diego alone. And I overextended myself, thought I could always borrow against the equity I had. The banks went under, and then all of a sudden said, as I was in lawsuits too, right, liquidating my ego, that's my terminology. All of a sudden they said, hey, you got millions of dollars, but you can't have it. I learned a valuable
So you have all
lesson.
this equity in real estate and you can't tap into it.
Can't tap into it.
A lot of people went through that. I mean, even on a smaller scale. I mean, individual homeowners and everything else is a tough time.
Yeah, so I lived here in Rancho Santa Fe. I just made a conscious decision not to fight it. I wanted to pay back everybody that I owed because I figured liquidating the properties through bankruptcy would pay any debts I had. So I actually came out of bankruptcy in a moral position that I felt comfortable with. But during that process, I met Lee Steinberg, the most notable sports agent, became CEO.
What year is this?
This was in 2008.
Okay, so market crashes, you're going through all this, this liquidation, this BK.
Yeah.
Meet Lee Steinberg.
Lee Steinberg. Within 48 hours, he hired me as his COO. Within 6 months, I became the CEO of the most notable sports agency. Most people know him from Jerry Maguire.
Sure. So explain this. How do you go from tech to a sports agency and be able to carry the skill set over?
Great question, because most people want to be Jerry Maguire.
Sure.
Right? And they still come up to me. I always focused, because I went from being a lawyer to technology, I always focused in on skills, knowledge, and desire. I played football and baseball in college. You know, I really a sports guy. I always dreamed of being a sports agent. But for me, I had developed skills. So when I talked to Lee Steinberg, I wasn't looking for a job. I was representing a friend for a reality show called Showtime.
Okay.
But I talked about my skill set, my administrative, my organization, my operation skill set, my ability to raise money, as well as my technology background, and it caught Lee's eye. And so out of all the thousands of resumes that he had to take Jeff Morad's job, the old owner of the Padres, who was COO of Lee's, I got the job.
Wow.
Because of my skills, knowledge, and desire. And they did. They translated completely over. And I still look for kids by their values, their skills, and their knowledge, not by whether they worked for CAA or David Dunn or anyone.
Skills, knowledge, and desire. What were the biggest lessons you've learned through the adversity of 2008?
Value. So I live my life. I wake up every morning now, instead of trying to take and compete, there's no resistance in my life. I actually shifted the paradigm and said, you know what? I have a great gift. I'm going to start giving it, meaning I pray to God for 10 people that I can help every day. It's very simple. I work just as hard. I love to work. I enjoy the pursuit of my potential. But my goal in life is to provide value, and I trust the universe that it'll bring everything back to me that I ask for, and I've learned to ask big.
So you mentioned you're a former athlete, so you have that competitive spirit.
Let's not embarrass myself, right? I played in college.
Hey, I claim it too, and I didn't get through anything past high school.
Right.
But you have that competitive spirit in you, that entrepreneurial spirit. That kind of started you, got you to where you're going, but then over time, maybe humbled by 2008, you learned to focus more on values and giving, and you feel like that's reciprocated pretty well for you.
Yeah, served my way up, served my way out. I still do. I trust in the fact that if I provide value, that the universe, it creates a void for the universe to fill, and it's much easier to fill that void than me making promises. And so all I do is stay focused in on the value that I can provide. I do believe in a consistent, every day, persistent, without quit, enjoyment of the pursuit of my potential.
Wow.
And that's the pursuit of that value that I can help others with.
So fast forward us to now.
Yeah.
Right? So now we're in 2018.
Blessed. I started a business with Warren Moon, who was a client of mine and a partner at Lee's. We have a sports marketing company with a motto of make a lot of money to help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. We have really different sides of the business: media, sponsorship, and then philanthropy.
Okay.
So those are the three businesses that we're in. I've been able to build my own brand by speaking around the world, writing books. I have a great podcast, a top 5 podcast called Playbook, and then the #1 digital business show called Elevator Pitch with Entrepreneur Magazine.
Tell us about Elevator Pitch.
Elevator Pitch is my way of giving back. I felt that I get pitched so much, right? I'm involved in a lot of funds. I raise a lot of money. I felt that people didn't have that 60-second stimulating interest down. They're great geniuses, and they were missing opportunities because they couldn't articulate value. So I created a show with Entrepreneur where you get 60 seconds in an elevator.
So Entrepreneur Magazine, you created the show with.
Correct.
Okay?
Yeah, and they're in an elevator for 60 seconds, 4 judges, and they have 60 seconds to convince us to open the doors. If they open the doors, it's a mentoring show. I call it Shark Tank with Soul. We actually mentor you. We have several options, from PO financing to all of us together investing. We also have an entrepreneur fund that will invest. And then we also have Indiegogo involved, who did all of the crowdfunding in case we want you to prove us to the market and prove us wrong. We can come back and invest again.
So you have a big belief, you believe in capitalism.
Absolutely.
But capitalism to allow you to be more philanthropic.
Yeah, in fact, I wrote a book called Compassionate Capitalism that shifts the paradigm of value, right? It's called Journey to the Soul of Business. That why not challenge ourselves to not only make a lot of money, but in the process, like Elon Musk and others, create social impact and change. And by doing so, I don't, whether you believe in karma or not, I just believe in true value and math, that the more that I give, the more it's going to come back to me.
You're on a show called The American Dream. Can I ask you what you believe the American Dream is?
American dream is to pursue your potential. I travel around the world, I speak around the world, and not everybody has the opportunity to enjoy the pursuit of their potential. You can come here with nothing. I was born with 6 kids and a single mom in a 2-bedroom apartment in Akron, Ohio. Wow. And by the time I was 9, I was living in San Diego, and by the time I was 25, I was a multimillionaire. I was afforded the luxury of pursuing my potential. It's the only thing standing between you and the American dream, and your dream is you. Other countries, you can't say that in.
Yep, love it. Wow. Dave, great interview. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Anytime. Thank you.
All right, more of The American Dream coming up next. Welcome back to The American Dream. There is no doubt about it, the real estate industry is under disruption and chaos. You have companies like Purple Bricks and Redfins trying to commoditize the industry to circumvent the realtor. I'm a big believer that to gain market share, you've got to be a great marketer, and with that disruption creates amazing opportunities. One of the best marketers I've ever met in real estate, Seth O'Byrne, joins us on the show right now. Seth, good to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
Just won a big award as it pertains specifically to the marketing of real estate.
Yeah, this was cool. Yeah, we stoked to talk about this. The San Diego Business Journal, obviously, the go-to publication for people in business right now.
Yep.
They do an award every year called the Best in Real Estate, and we were really proud because BOSA, when they were building Pacific Gate, identified a few key brokers that in the resale market, they wanted to help push the project along. Well, we did a whole video marketing series around Pacific Gate, and we're really happy to say San Diego Business Journal gave us best real estate deals for our marketing.
But let's be clear. Tell everyone real quickly what Pacific Gate is.
Yes. So Pacific Gate is the most expensive high-rise ever built in San Diego.
Yeah.
So
it's insane.
Yeah.
Couple of the amenities, share.
There's a yacht share, a private yacht share. So there's one yacht that everybody it's in the HOA has. You have a fleet of Porsches that you can drive, that you can take out on trade. There's something called a chef concierge, which has nothing to do with being a chef. It's a concierge that essentially does everything and anything you want. And so the penthouse sold for $15 million. It's what's called a super prime building, which is one of the rarest buildings for high rises at the highest level you could get to. And so we did hopefully a fairly inspired marketing project around it. But we were just excited because this year has been amazing for getting recognized for all the work we put in.
So marketing luxury real estate, which is a lot different than, your median prices, whether it's in Southern California or all across the country. Now, the American Dream is a national television show. We're all across, I think, 23 cities now, from San Diego to New York City to Seattle to Dallas, all the way to the middle, and St. Louis and Cincinnati. And we always talk about how marketing is so important when it comes to properties, helping them get top dollar. What we've found through our network of power players, which is a trademark term on the American Dream, many of our elite luxury realtors in their markets are flying you there to market their properties, these 10, 20, 30 plus $1 million properties. Tell us some stuff you've done recently.
Yeah. So it's been an amazing, 2017 and 18 have been incredible for this. So, last year we went to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and advertised one of the most expensive homes ever constructed in Idaho on the lake. We were there for 3 days, created an amazing video with Sotheby's out there. Then we went up and worked with Wes Jones at Keller Williams on one of the most expensive houses on the market in the entire state of Washington. 4 houses on Lake Washington, unbelievable house. And we went to Aspen, Colorado, and advertised a house that actually owns 400 acres on the backside of Ajax. So you actually own part of Aspen Mountain.
Wow.
There's no way you can be king of the hill if you're not the king of Aspen, right?
Yeah.
That's where the billionaires pushed out the millionaires. So we got hired to go out there and advertise $30 million in real estate in 48 hours. And just came back from, I believe, my favorite trip we've ever done, which is we went to Steamboat, Colorado, and we worked with Steamboat Sotheby's and all the brokers there, and used the ability for us now to make our content national with the American Dream, but craft really highly produced content around this amazing place, Steamboat, Colorado. Most people have never been there, and I think it's one of the greatest places I've ever been.
So let me chime in here. So you got these other top realtors all across the country. Now, some of them aren't tied into the American Dream. There's an average of 10 to 15,000 realtors per city across the country. They're reaching out to you and they're saying, hey, Seth, seen your work. A lot of people follow you on social media, which, by the way, I encourage you. You want to see some amazing videos and marketing, follow Seth O'Byrne on Instagram. But a lot of these people have found you. You have, it's kind of a connected network. And they're saying, look, this is a really high-end property. I got to get this thing moving. I got to impress this seller. They're hiring you to come out.
Yes.
How does that work?
Yeah, so we've got a deal that we're putting together in Hawaii right now, where we're working on the deal as a team. But we have a lot of deals. More often than not, we'll get brought into other cities, and it typically only works with trophy properties.
Right, we're talking high end.
High end, yeah. $5 million is probably enough to start thinking about doing this. But a lot of times we're focusing on 10.
And to be clear, for those watching the show, you need this kind of marketing on a high-end property because you have international buyers. Many of those buyers are incredibly savvy, cash buyers from all over the world. So the whole open house in the front yard, a couple posts on social media, that ain't going to get it sold, and it's certainly not going to get it sold for top dollar. Yeah. So these agents are saying, look, we love what you do. We like your strategies. Come out here, help us get this thing sold. Yeah,
so, and why it's powerful, we call it dual purpose marketing, right? Or kind of, we run these 2 marketing channels in parallel. One is chronicling to our 24,000 followers on Instagram and 20 other thousand followers on Facebook in the real estate arena. Like, we chronicle in real time us flying out there, the experience of seeing this part of the world for the first time, is showcasing all these amazing properties. And then at the end of it, we come out with usually a series of like 5 to 10 videos. Partially, it's about us using our eyes in San Diego, real estate experts, but unfamiliar usually with the cities that we're going to, and seeing these homes for the first time and kind of seeing the effect it has on us and how inspired we are. And then a lot of videos just down and dirty, like marketing the property and creating a series of videos that we then help them figure out a sequencing plan with. So on Facebook, we can essentially create a click funnel for luxury clients. We've got one that we're doing right now on a $20 million property. And we have identified 4 billionaires in China and Japan through these marketing techniques that we've learned. And we know that they're watching the content, and we're just spoon feeding them the exact perfect content for that property. It's been incredibly successful. And I hope it's the beginning of lots of this.
No, it's fun to watch. So what Seth does better than anyone is he creates a story around the lifestyle of that property. And you would maybe call that content, right? Sure. A storyline, creating content. But then the distribution side of it is, you're mentioning targeting billionaires in other parts of the world where not only are you creating this great story, but you're finding the people to put that story in front of. I don't know anyone doing this all across the country. And I've been traveling, meeting the best brokers everywhere and sitting right next to who I consider to be the best. So if you are selling a piece of luxury real estate, great guy to learn from. If you are a realtor, great guy to maybe reach out to. I've seen it firsthand. It's been a remarkable journey to watch. Seth O'Byrne,
Cool.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
More of The American Dream coming up next. Well, as you know, The American Dream is a national program where we focus on business, the entrepreneurial spirit, overcoming adversity, finance, the market, all things that are relevant to empowering your American dream. But a big topic of conversation on this show is housing. So what we do is we integrate local, top-producing, award-winning realtors to cover a wide range of topics on that subject, different micro markets, different niche subject matter. Housing is such a big topic, so we're going to bring you a lot of information right now from some of the best in your market. Let's check out these interviews.
Welcome back to The American Dream as we now focus in on your local Portland marketplace. My next guest is a specialist in multifamily investment properties. I want to welcome back onto The American Dream, Troy Doty, principal broker and owner of Northwest Realty Source. Troy, thank you so much for being back on the show.
Hi, thanks, Jen. It's great to be back again.
So Troy, what should an investor be thinking about when they're looking to invest in the Portland area? And what are some of the financial benefits that someone could get from owning an investment property?
That's a great question. There's four key categories that an investor should be looking at as far as evaluating and just the benefits of an investment property. The first is income and cash flow. And that's really the amount of money the property produces after you take away all the expenses and the loan repayment for the property. It's also one of the key factors in how we determine the valuation of an investment property for not only selling but also buying a property. The next is principal reduction, and that's the amount that you're going to be paying down towards the debt and the loan on the property with the rent you're going to be receiving from your tenants. A third benefit is the tax savings, and that's through depreciation. Depending on the tax bracket of an investor, there can be a pretty large tax savings yearly for that investor. And really the last, which most people are familiar with, is appreciation, and that's over time as the property goes up in value and the value at a future date.
So what are some of the recent changes now that are affecting landlords and tenants in Portland? Because there have been some recent changes that are changing the game a little bit for people.
Yeah, there really has been in Portland. We've got a lot of new laws and regulations impacting landlords and also affecting tenants too. One of the biggest changes is the mandatory relocation assistance. So if you move a tenant out of the property without cause, then you actually have to pay a relocation fee to help them with their moving costs and expenses. There's also now a 90-day notice. It used to be a 30-day notice. Now it's 90 days to move a tenant out of the property. There's also some other laws now affecting short-term rentals, and right now in Portland area, one of the big hot things is Airbnb or ADUs, people that are having secondary rentals in their home. But the city has recently made some pretty big changes regulating that as well. But the great thing is there's a lot of resources available through Multnomah County if you're looking to find out more about investing and just really what you should be aware of.
Well, great information today for investors. Thank you so much, Troy. And before I let you go, I do want to talk to you a little bit about some duplexes that I know you have coming available soon, a couple of listings that you have. And like I mentioned earlier, you are a specialist in multifamily investment properties, and these really live up to that.
Yeah, we have two great new duplexes coming on the market here in the next week here in Southeast Portland. So the first property we have is located at 1219 Southeast 23rd Avenue in Portland. It's a historic duplex. It's built in 1904. It's priced at $925,000. This duplex has 3-bedroom units with 1 bath, a lot of great historic features, original charm, nice covered front porch. Really a great property if you're looking for an inner city, kind of what Portland has to offer as far as the historic building. The second property we have coming on the market is in the same area, which is at 3807 Southeast Main Street. This duplex is priced at $625,000. It's a 1-bed bath unit for each side. Again, it's also built in the early 1900s in 1904. It has a large wraparound porch, and a lot of great features in this property as well, as far as original trim, hardwood floors, etc. It's also right across from shopping, grocery stores, walking through the Belmont Hawthorne district, and really a neat community.
And as we are talking about fabulous investment properties and opportunities today, those are certainly some fabulous investment properties. Troy, thank you so much for being on the show today and for highlighting those units.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate being on the show.
And we'll be right back with more of the American Dream. Welcome back to the American Dream. Well, with such a saturated market, we're talking today about how to stay visible and relevant with my next guest, Terry Sprague. He is a luxury real estate expert with Lux Christie's International Real Estate. Terry, thank you so much for being back on the show today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So before we get into some specifics, Terry, tell me a little bit about the market. What's happening in Portland? Is it still as strong as it ever was?
So we're definitely seeing some changes in the dynamics of the marketplace right now. And I think we're seeing that all the way across the board in LA to Seattle. Things are beginning to become more normalized. And so it's a really important time as a broker to be advised in regards to what is going on in the economy, what changes are occurring. There's been recent articles about the market slowing down, and they like to write articles about plane crashes, not landings. I'm not concerned about a plane crash, but I do think it's time to really communicate to your client about pricing. And if you're writing offers, talk about presenting your offers and use that to your advantage in regards to describing why you might be coming in at a different price point because you're concerned about the market slowing down a little bit.
Sure. So things are changing. How do you use strategy to your benefit and your client's benefit?
So when it comes to selling the homes, we list a lot of homes is one of my main areas. It's important to say, look, it's like musical chairs out there right now. We don't want to be the last chair. Let's be the best house on the market. Let's be the best value on the market. So as long as I'm performing the best marketing and we're getting visibility, let's be sure our pricing is correct right now. This is a great time to review pricing.
You mentioned that you sell a lot of homes. You are being humble. You are the market leader in luxury homes in the Portland area. How do you make real estate personal, and how do you go about telling the story?
So it's all about relationships, and it's all about trust, and I think that's any industry. The first thing we do is try to allow the client to know that we understand their personal life story, we understand their personal needs, and we take the transaction personally, and we're here to find them the best lifestyle, the best home, but also protect them from a strategic point of view in regards to what they purchase or what they sell.
You have been known to say that you're doubling down on human intelligence versus artificial intelligence. I love that phrase. Tell me a little bit more about what you mean by that.
Well, I'm a little old school, and I keep track of my clients on a yellow piece of paper and handwritten notes still. And there's so much technology, literally billions of dollars of venture capital rolling into the real estate industry right now. And I think the way to separate yourself is to be personal and to double down on your human intelligence rather than the artificial intelligence. And we're being sure that we are relevant to our clients. So getting back to the old school, picking up the phone, calling your clients and just saying hello. We recently opened up a local office in a community area of Lake Oswego with the dog dish. Shaking hands and being part of your community, doubling down on the personal relationships.
Terry Sprague, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being with us today.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
And we'll be right back with more of the American Dream.
Welcome to the American Dream. I want to introduce you now to Brad Wulf. He is a top producing realtor with Keller Williams Realty Professionals. Welcome to the show, Brad.
Thank you.
We're excited to talk to you, Brad. I know you've been in the industry for 15 years and you've been an expert there for all of our viewers in the Portland area, but what makes you stand out in the crowd?
We really focus on the people side of the business. So where there are transactions that go on a regular basis, we try to focus on building advocates. And the only way we can do that is through giving a really great experience communicate very heavily and watch to make sure all goes well throughout the whole thing. So if we focus on that, we create advocates who send us business, and that makes us more unique than someone who's just transaction-based and trying to do a bunch of transactions real quickly.
I love it. And I know that some people are finding the market confusing right now. You being an expert, why don't you kind of answer that a little bit and see what you're actually seeing with the market today?
Right, the market is kind of confusing now. As they've looked back over the last couple of years, we've had listings that are just flying off the shelves here in Portland. And now there's a little bit of a slowdown there where it's taking a more traditional 2 or 3 months to sell a house. And so people are worried about what that means. It really is much more of a normal market. It's a window of opportunity for buyers to go in and make an offer without competing offers, which they haven't had that opportunity for a long time. So sellers have to be a little bit more realistic. Buyers have more of an opportunity to go in and make their offers. And I think it's going to be that way for a little while here.
So with the market shifting then, if a buyer is thinking, is it time to hold off? Should I not buy right now? What do you advise?
I think that now is actually an opportune time for buyers because rates are starting to go up some, as we all know, and values are not looking to go down. They're just leveling off a little bit. So they're going up about 4 to 6% a year rather than something like 10% a year. So with that in mind, if they wait, they're going to be paying more for the homes at a higher rate. So I think now is actually an opportune time for buyers to step into the market and not have to compete quite as much as they did recently, but still get great rates and good prices.
I hope our viewers are really catching on to that and that they know they can reach out to you because as an expert, I know you're staying on top of the market every day. So you're not advising what was taking place 6 months ago, but you're looking at today. That's why we say work with a real estate professional. We always advocate for that because you know exactly what's going on. So I hope our viewers reach out to ask you the important questions on when to buy, what the strategic planning can be. And we appreciate that you're coming on and being a part of the show to be a great expert for all of our viewers there in the Portland area.
Excellent.
Make sure and follow us on social media. You can engage in the conversation and reach us at AmericanDreamNetwork.tv. We're here to be your advisor and empower your American dream, and we'll be right back with more.
All right, that's all for the American Dream. Thank you so much for checking us out. Remember, our goal is to educate, empower, and engage your American Dream. Don't forget, we love you to breathe oxygen into this message. Follow us on social media, and don't forget, we'll catch you next time. See you next week.